From Delaware's most award-winning radio news team, this is WDEL Video News. Here's Chris Carl.
Among Delaware's top stories for Tuesday, January 16th, the wild scene near Wilmington's Little Italy, honoring Dr. King. And Delaware has a new high school girls basketball scoring champ. Here are the details. A Wilmington police officer is on desk duty after firing shots at a stolen car yesterday. Officers were investigating a suspicious vehicle on West 3rd Street near North DuPont. The driver refused police commands and tried to drive off, prompting an officer to fire twice into the car's trunk. Because the car was blocked in by police cruisers, the suspect started driving on the sidewalk, hitting several objects before getting back onto 3rd Street. When the car got to North Rodney Street, the driver and a passenger got out and ran, eluding police. State police say a motorcyclist has died from injuries suffered in a crash Friday near Newark. Police say 58-year-old Charles Sanders died yesterday after the crash on Old Baltimore Pike at Otts Chapel Road. Police are still investigating and say charges are pending after a review by the Attorney General's office. Sanders was riding his bike Friday when a Jeep Liberty turned in front of him. County police are investigating a shooting and home invasion near Newcastle. Police were called to Overview Gardens Sunday about 2:30 a.m. According to the homeowner, 3 men had broken into his house, took money, then shot him once in the chest. He was taken to Christiana Hospital and is in stable condition. Police are still searching for the suspects. State environmental officials say the Valero refinery in Delaware City released some dangerous chemicals into the air after a problem at the plant. According to DENREC, the refinery released several chemicals intermittently over about 30 minutes Sunday just after noon due to a leak in its boiler system. The quantity of the release isn't known, but DENREC says it's expected that reportable quantities were exceeded. A watchdog group is not very happy with state lawmakers. We'll tell you why coming up as WDEL News continues in a moment.
As you look for your college experience, make sure you look at Wilmington College, your key to success.
One of Delaware's largest celebrations to remember the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. brought the Wilmington riverfront alive yesterday. WDEL's Curtis Gray was there.
The 16th annual Dr. King celebration focused on the kids with everything from Chinese handwriting and gospel choirs to Irish cloggers and an essay contest. It was sponsored by DuPont and the city at the Chase Center on the riverfront. National Public Radio host and author Tavis Smiley called it a fitting tribute considering this is the 400th anniversary of Jamestown settlement, bringing the relatives of Dr. King and other African Americans to begin their contributions to the new country.
But this is not just another King holiday. This is the year that the settlement was established, where King's ancestors, where your ancestors, where my ancestors first arrived to start the process of making these contributions to this place called America. And so I can't stand here today and not imagine what it would be like to live in this place called America without the contributions of black folk.
DuPont CEO Chad Holliday surprised the crowd by announcing a $1 million donation towards building of the National Memorial in Washington to honor the work of Dr. King.
We decided it was time to take another stand. And I am quite honored today on behalf of all my colleagues at DuPont to announce a $1 million donation to that memorial.
DuPont played a role in helping to establish the first King holiday with representation on the MLK Federal Holiday Commission back in 1986. I'm Curtis Gray, 1150 AM, WDEL.
A day off from school was far from a day off for members of the Sanford school community. Students, administrators, and parents wielding shovels, rakes, weed eaters, and mowers marked the Martin Luther King holiday for the second year in a row with a cleanup of the Mount Zion Cemetery on Lancaster Avenue. This year's cleanup of the African American burial ground was made easier by a massive effort last year, as well as occasional maintenance throughout the year. A government watchdog group wants the State House Ethics Committee hearing into last fall's traffic stop involving Representative John Atkins to be open to the public. Common Cause of Delaware is citing the Freedom of Information Act and calling for today's hearing to be open. Atkins requested the hearing last week, saying he owes it to his constituents and his House colleagues to have the Ethics Committee review his conduct to see if legislative rules were broken. Atkins was pulled over in Ocean City, Maryland in October, and although a preliminary breath test showed a blood alcohol content of 0.14, Atkins, who was driving with his legislative license plate showing his ID to police along with his license, wasn't cited or arrested. The Republican lawmaker did plead guilty to offensive touching for grabbing his wife's arm during an argument later that night and was sentenced to probation. A rather unusual scene just south of Hockessin yesterday morning. Lancaster Pike was closed near Hercules Road after hay inside a dump truck caught fire just before 8:30 a.m. Authorities aren't sure what started the fire. The truck wasn't damaged. The road was closed for 90 minutes while crews cleaned up the scene. No charges have been filed. On college basketball, Dell State is still perfect. WDEL Sports and your Delaware AccuWeather forecast coming up.
You could spend your money at the gas pump, or you could spend it on those sexy pumps at your favorite store. Let Dart do the driving.
I do all my shopping with Dart. It's the most convenient way to shop the outlets, and it saves me money.
Now save even more. Get up to 40% off with a discounted Dart card online at dartfirststate.com or at your local Acme Market.
At this rate, with the money I save riding Dart, I'll have a new pair of shoes every week.
Travel smart. Choose Dart.
I'm Peter MacArthur.
I'm Melanie Armstrong, and here are Delaware's top stories at the top of the hour.
The most complete coverage of the news that matters in Delaware every weekday morning, 5:30 to 9 on 1150 AM WDEL.
In WDEL Sports, St. Elizabeth senior Khadijah Rushton scored 30 points to lead the Vikings to a 77-63 win over Woodrow Wilson of New Jersey. Rushton's points vaulted her past Kristen Mills to become the Delaware girls' career scoring leader with 2,146 points. The state's #1 girls team is now 11-1 on the season. Chris Bosch scored 27 points and Joey Graham added 18. As Toronto whipped the Sixers 104-86, Andre Iguodala led the Sixers with 15. And Joshua Blunt scored 14 points, and Delaware State stayed perfect in the MEAC with a 61-47 win over Maryland Eastern Shore. The game was tied at 34 at the half, but the Hornets kicked off the second half with an 11-0 run. Delaware State is 8-9 overall, but 5-0 in conference play. Your WDEL Delaware AccuWeather forecast: cloudy today with temperatures falling into the 40s. Tonight, clearing and cold, a low down to 23. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, but a high just 36. Get news updates throughout the day. Delaware's top stories at the top of the hour on 1150 AM WDEL or anytime right here at WDEL.com, including news video from Delaware and around the world from WDEL and the Associated Press. I'm Chris Carl. Thanks for watching.